How's it going, everybody? My name is Mike Jimenez, and this is The Acquired Taste. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Thursday afternoon. Thank you for spending your time with us. We're going to go for about an hour and 15 or so, but rumor has it we're going to 2 hours soon enough. Maybe next week, for sure the week after that, but soon enough. Joe Garcia producing today's show. What's going on, Joe? How you doing today?
What's up, man? Yeah, I made me a little picture-in-picture window, so now people
like
know what I
it.
look like, you know?
There you go. We can go back and forth with each other here. Again, we're live on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. If you subscribe to us on YouTube, and I hope that you do, you can leave your comments and we can read them in real time, and you can be part of the show. And in fact, what do we do on Thursdays, Joe?
It's listener-driven, man. You all pick them. It's the Pick 'em show.
Now, I'll pick a few topics, okay? But I'll go back and forth and answer whatever questions you have regarding sports, pop culture, or nostalgia. Okay. And we're also available on Spotify, by the way. Yesterday, I went and got a haircut. Dude, I'm looking good, dude. I'm looking good. Got my haircut. As I was walking out the door, you know, I was on my cell phone.
Yeah.
And this guy comes up to me and he goes, "Are you Mike Jimenez?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Mike. I'm Mike." And he goes, "Yeah, I knew this was you. I used to listen to your old show Halftime on San Antonio Sports.Star." And he goes, "I couldn't tell for sure if it was you. But then you spun around and you had an LSU shirt on. And I know that your daughter goes to LSU because you won't shut up about it."
Yeah.
And he was asking me, "So what are you up to?" And I said, "Hey, man, I'm doing a podcast called The Acquired Taste. We get it going at noon." And I said, "Hey, you know, you can follow us on Spotify. You can follow us on YouTube." And I was able to grab his phone and show him where it was at.
So
right?
you're picking up subscribers as you're out and about.
That's it. Because, again, people don't know about this show, all the listeners that I used to have, right? But if everyone knew, they would probably subscribe to us on YouTube and on Spotify. Yesterday, I created my first shorts.
I saw
ever.
that,
my
man.
first YouTube shorts, and I had over 1,000 views about the Jason Aldean. Is he racist or not? Is that song and music video
and that's
racist?
Crazy, man.
You know what? People wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, they sure do.
And I was up till about 2 a.m. going back and forth with people on Facebook about it. We're going to get into that later on in the show. We're doing sports, pop culture, nostalgia.
Yeah.
Keep in mind also, we're going to be talking about Devin Vassell, my favorite Spur. All due respect to Keldon Johnson, Wemby, and Sohan.
Yeah, man. I like Devin too.
He's my guy.
Yeah, man.
He's my son on this team. And the fact of the matter is that this is his last season with the Spurs unless they extend him.
Yeah.
Or what, right? This is the last year of his rookie deal.
Yeah, sure is. 4 years.
So let's talk about what's going on with Devin Vassell and his future with this team. You know, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs has a very interesting article coming out right now. It's also on Kens5.com talking about the statistics involving those who are buying Spurs season tickets. There's been a dramatic shift here that I find to be very interesting, very intriguing. We'll get into that in a moment. Again, we'll talk about Jason Aldean because that story won't go away. And guess what? The dude's Teflon, man. Nothing is sticking to him. And believe it or not, nearly 27 years later, developments, a SWAT raid in the investigation of the murder of rapper, actor Tupac Shakur
Ain't
in
that
Las
crazy,
Vegas.
dude? Like
27 years later. Crazy.
Did they get a tip or something, which we'll discuss, but I mean, it's crazy news, man.
It's absolutely insane. You know what else was crazy news? The news I got yesterday.
Oh man, I gotta show this, dude. This is nuts. You were making me laugh because you're like, well, this is awkward. It sure is awkward, and it's on the topic of those things that make you go, huh?
Yes.
You know, like what was really going on here, man? Because this is what you said. And I'm going to click on the article. Full disclosure, it's Barrett Sports Media.
Mm-hmm.
And this is directly from their Twitter page. You went ahead and retweeted this article. And what they were saying is that the SA Sports Stars saw a boost at their midday slot.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because Barrett Sports Media is basically an outlet that talks about radio. Okay, It's a national radio outlet. And when they tagged me on there, I thought they tagged me on accident because I thought, oh, well, they're talking about San Antonio Sports Star, my former radio station.
Yeah.
I thought, you know, they just did it by habit. But then I read the story and the headline basically says, middays, Mike Jimenez's show, and the one I used to do with Tim Spence as well, was also the highest rated show on San Antonio Sports Star. So they gave me kudos.
They did.
And I find it interesting because I did 2 out of 3 months in Q2. So I'm interested to see what Q2 ratings say. But I took a victory lap yesterday, and I just basically did a retweet that said, well, this is awkward. And it's awkward because, I got let go, and part of the belief was that it wasn't a profitable show. I find it hard to believe that you can't sell the highest rated show or a highly rated show.
Numbers don't lie.
Now, just because it's highest rated doesn't mean that it has the most listeners, because there are fewer listeners that listen between 12 and 2, 12 and 3 than, rush hour traffic in the morning or in the evening. But still, I found it to be very interesting. And I enjoyed my time at San Antonio Sports Star. I like the fact that a lot of the people from my old station reached out to me, both in not only in the sales department and the sports department, reached out to me and said, hey, dude, those were great numbers, Ben. You killed it.
They were.
And so congratulations to me. I don't know how to celebrate this. What should I do when I celebrate this? But it vindicated me a little bit. I knew that the ratings were good Q4 of 2022, but Barrett Sports Media coming out and saying congratulations, Jimenez, made me feel good.
Those are the numbers right here. We're looking at the article, and they were saying
it was a 2.3, and it was exceptionally high in 45 to 54, which, by the way, happens to be the people who have money. It's the people who have money. And to be told, well, this show wasn't being sold. Come on, man. Come on. We have sponsors of the show. It's not hard to sell me. This is a good time. This is a good show.
Yeah, well, we're not going to speculate here, but all we can do is be like, well, what they say and what's actually happening here when you're looking at numbers wise, it tells you a different story.
Yeah, I know. Carolina Teague, good friend of mine, says men lie, women lie, but numbers don't.
She got that from me. I always tell her that. I tell her numbers don't lie.
The numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie.
You know what numbers we're not getting these days? Twitter. Those jackasses at Twitter.
Oh, man. Don't even get me started,
Elon Musk
man.
is pissing me off yet again.
He's trying to force everybody to pay that $8 fee, man.
Well, one of the things that we do, we go live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, right? And in a perfect world, everyone is either watching on YouTube or Spotify, because we can keep tabs of that. Facebook, although if you're watching this on Facebook right now, I appreciate it, but move on over to YouTube, because that helps me out. Okay, that helps when it comes to revenue building. That comes when it comes to getting advertisers and things like that. The minutes viewed on Twitter and on Facebook do not help. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you being part of the conversation. But if you really, truly want to help me and Joe out, you would migrate to either Spotify or to YouTube.
And YouTube is where we can show all the comments, because Twitter and Facebook, they act weird, man. Like, you have to have special permissions, and people have to individually go in there and click on another link to say, yes, you can share my avatar and you can share the comments that we're posting on Facebook Live. Facebook Live and Twitter, just weird, man.
So what they're doing right now with Twitter is they took away the counter. And the counter would say you have 200 viewers, 300 viewers, 400 viewers, and then we would compile it. Right now we're in the infancy stage, right? We're 5 weeks into this whole project, and we're averaging on a bad day 500 views, on a good day 1,500 views. Yeah. But we're really around 700 to 800 typically, more often than not, when you add all the sources. But we look at Twitter, for example, when Johnny Walker was on the other day, our YouTube numbers were low the past 2 days, but our Twitter numbers were exceptionally high.
They were.
And there are other days where YouTube outperforms all the others.
Yeah.
And it's just so weird. So if you want to help us out, watch us on Spotify, watch us on YouTube, subscribe to the MJ Acquired Taste, the Acquired Taste Network, which is going to be a true network, because our second show begins August 6th, the Fantasy Gods with Brandon Medina. Sunday, getting you going for fantasy football, getting you going for your draft, which are coming up, right? The snake drafts, the auction leagues, and all of that stuff. But we're going till about 1:15 or so. And if you're not listening live, you're listening in the future, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, midnight, whenever you consume the show, don't worry. We do not date our content. It is just as good at 3 o'clock as it is as noon.
Even
just as good at 7 p.m. midnight, just as good as it is at noon, because we're not going to date this content.
And look at this. I like this little comment here. Anthony L. He says, you have to go live on TikTok or Twitch, Mike. You know what? That's the thing that I was thinking today, too. We're going to talk about this, man. We might have to actually go live on Twitch, and that's not hard to do. TikTok, you got to have at least 1,000 subscribers
Right.
before you can go live. So, y'all want us to go live on TikTok? Got to help the show out.
Yeah, we're spinning plates right now because I think the first thing that we need to do is monetize YouTube.
Yeah.
And the first part of monetizing YouTube is having 500 subscribers. We got that. The next check mark is have 3,000 hours of view time.
We're almost there.
And we're going to cross 2,000 today.
Yeah.
We're a couple of hours short. Did you know, I was doing the math, and I sent this message to a good buddy of mine over at San Antonio Sports. And I said, did you know that the average time that people watch this podcast is 18 minutes?
That's pretty high, man.
Do you know how high that is?
Yeah.
The average view time for a podcast is 5 minutes.
It's like 3 minutes sometimes.
Well, 5 is considered to be really good.
Yeah.
5 is like a 40% shooter from 3. We are getting, for the 200, 300, 400 people who watch daily on YouTube, not the ones on Twitter, not the ones on Facebook, but the ones on YouTube are watching, consuming at 18-minute chunks daily.
That's insane, man.
That's amazing. Anthony L reached out and says, like Mr. B said, your first 100 videos won't get many views, but that's the thing. We're building.
Yeah.
We're building something with this. And thank you to all of our sponsors out there. One of our sponsors is Serenity Manor. And today they were hoping to have their very first trivia night, but unfortunately it's not going to happen tonight. But they did confirm for me this morning that next Thursday, not tonight, but next Thursday, they will have their second karaoke night. Serenity Manor. It's an events venue in Old Town Helotes off Old Bandera Road, catty corner to Flora's Country Store, 14405 Old Bandera Road, and they have a karaoke bar. They do karaoke. It's a family style type of thing. You can bring your teens out there. You can bring your kids out there. No one's getting sloshed, right? They serve beer. They serve wine. They serve margaritas. No one's going to get, S-faced, okay? They're going to have a good time. Bring your family. It's a good environment. They do have food trucks out there that are very, very good. It's the one that's going to be out there next Thursday is S-Side Curbside Eats. They have like hamburgers and quesadillas and all of that out there.
That sounds good.
But also, they're going to have a market day August 19th and 20th. If you want to attend, they're going to have crafters, bakers, artisans, people who make clothes, people who create their own homemade pet treats, and a lot more. And if you also want to get your own stand out there and be part of that open air market, both indoor and outdoor, just reach out to them. Again, you can check out the Serenity Manor, 14405 Old Bandera Road. Yes, they do have their own website. What is the website address there?
The website address here is serenitymanor.square.site.
Very nice. You can be part of that. Again, no trivia tonight, but they will have karaoke next Thursday, and I might need to make it again. I had fun the first time.
We had fun watching you sing.
That's right.
We did.
Right. Every little step, baby. I will be there. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Very interesting article that he had this morning on kens5.com. Jeff Garcia, Moneybags, is a very, very good friend of the show, one of my best friends in the entire world. Jeff Garcia has an article today talking about the statistics involving Spurs season tickets. I didn't realize the Spurs kept statistics like this, but apparently, as you know, when the Spurs won the draft lottery and we selected Victor Wembanyama last month, there was excitement.
Oh, yeah.
And there was people flooding the phone lines, flooding the AT&T Center looking for season tickets.
I called my Spurs ticket rep before the draft even happened. I had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I told him, hey, man, it's time to pull the trigger, dude. I'm ready to get season tickets. And lo and behold, he goes, hey, yeah, we'll talk the next day. And that just so happened to be after the NBA draft lottery.
Oh, my goodness. I hope you got locked in on a good rate.
Oh, I did, man. I did.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, the statistics basically say that, according to Jeff Garcia, again, Ken's 5, he's quoting a Spurs official that says that the increase in the number of people who have bought season tickets, that there's a 10% increase in Hispanic season ticket holders.
No doubt.
Of the new group. We love a winner, baby.
We do.
We love a winner. And beyond that, there's also been a spike in Gen Z and millennial buyers. And I know a lot of us think that millennials are like young people. Millennials are 30s and 40s, right?
They're making money. They got residual income.
So we're talking ages 21 to 42, 21 to 45. are buying those season tickets, a lot more Hispanics. And you know what? San Antonio is 65% Hispanic, which really means, that's according to the government, which really means it's 75. Okay. Not everybody
What's
answers
not
the census.
getting reported. Yeah.
Not everybody answers the census, man. There's too many taquerias here, man. We're probably closer to 70 when it all goes into effect. But keep in mind, this is all part of the Wemby effect with the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs fans are excited. Vegas doesn't buy it. Vegas thinks that we're going to be a craptacular team yet again, back in the lottery. I think we're going to have a winning record. Fight me if you think differently.
Man, I'd be happy if they get 32, 35 wins. If they get higher than that and they're starting to flirt with the play-in, it's a plus, man. Why be angry? Just enjoy the ride and be excited.
Do you know why we're going to win more than 40 games? It's because Jeff and I bet $130
You
at
gotta have
5.5 to 1 odds that the Spurs would get, you know, the at least a 500 or better record, right?
Yeah, then you'll
And
get paid.
Jeff is money bags, so you would think follow the money. Follow the money.
But what's he gonna do if he wins that money? That's not even enough to buy a steak dinner by his standards.
Well, no, but it's enough to tip the Uber Eats guy.
True that. True that.
Again, follow Jeff Garcia at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter and on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5SA. And then also you can subscribe to Locked On Spurs on Spotify. That's how I consume it. And if you want to see Moneybags' pretty face, you can also subscribe to the Locked On Spurs YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, we got a good picture of Jeff we can show out here too, so everybody knows what he looks like. Because we had some people saying, "Oh, Jeff doesn't show his face." Yeah, he does, man. There he is, right there. You know, with the little top hat, goes everywhere with it.
Yeah, people keep asking why does he not show his face when he's on Wednesdays? Because Jeff Garcia is going to be typically our guy, our guest on Wednesdays.
Our Spurs insider.
Yeah, we like Tuesdays with Teague, but she was sick this week. He's our Spurs insider on Wednesdays. We have somebody flirty on Friday. You know, we want to talk about relationships and stuff like that on Friday. But sometimes he shows his face, sometimes he doesn't. I'm glad he's not, because we can use that top hat photo and that Moneybags nickname can live on forever.
In infamy.
That's right. San Antonio Spurs. You know, Wemby is long gone right now. He's just kind of laying low right now. But when it comes to the rest of the team, the reason why I believe the Spurs are going to win 46 games is because I think the people around him are going to get better with Wemby's presence. Sohan's going to get better. Keldon Johnson will be more wide open for those threes. Zach Collins is going to have a better chance of getting certain rebounds. The Wemby effect is going to live. Whether or not Wemby scores 20 and 10 or not, the fact that he's on the court at 7'3", changing and altering shots makes things different. And one of the big benefactors of all this might actually be Devin Vassell. Now, people give me crap because they say that I criticize Jeremy Sohan too much. One thing I have never done in my entire life is criticize Devin Vassell, because
You have not. That's surprising to me, man.
he's my guy.
That's your son?
Yeah, that is my son. Here's the thing. Before the draft a few years ago, I would watch games with James Pledger from San Antonio Sports Star because I was doing the Saturday morning hangover with him. And we fell in love with Devin Vassell when he played for Florida State. And because ACC games would start at 11 a.m. and our show would end at 11, let's just watch this game. And we would always, ESPN always had ACC. And we'd watch Devin Vassell. We fell in love with him. And we thought to ourselves, man, if this guy can somehow go to the Spurs, that would be amazing.
The kid's got game, man.
He does. He does. And what's interesting, though, about it is that Devin Vassell, when he was in college, was primarily known as a defensive guy. He had offensive game. You know, he could shoot the three. He was a 3-and-D kind of guy. He has blossomed in the NBA offensively. Defensively, though, I think it's taken him some time to kind of figure things out. And I think it's taken some time for the Spurs to figure out, should he be guarding twos or threes? Or should he be guarding ones?
He's kind of too versatile. They don't really know what to do with him.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's a jack of all trades, but a master of none.
Yeah.
When it comes to the defensive side of things. But look at Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell is actually, out of the 18 players the Spurs have on the roster right now, Devin Vassell is one of the lowest paid ones.
He is.
This upcoming season, he is slated to make $5.8 million. $5.8 million.
for a player of his caliber and what he can do.
Exactly. And
That's not enough.
And it's the final year of his deal, $5.8 million.
And the club has exercised their option in that 4th year.
Right.
You know?
So right now, the Spurs have to figure out what are they going to do with Devin Vassell long term. Because I think Devin Vassell is the type of player who would be a starter for basically every team in the NBA. Devin Vassell has the ability to shoot the three. He makes good decisions offensively. He plays decent defense. He's a good team player. He's the kind of guy that you would want. And, you know, he becomes a restricted free agent at the end of this season, qualifying offer of being $8 million. So we know he's going to get a raise. But the question becomes, should the Spurs extend him before that comes, or are they going to wait it out? Does Devin Vassell even want to be extended? Think about it. What if he wants to bet on himself? John Dyer, one of our listeners, on Twitter earlier this morning said, well, maybe he's betting on himself. I think that's a great point.
Could be. He wants to test the market.
Right.
He
because
should.
As a restricted free agent, what ends up happening is that the Spurs will allow him to sign someplace else, and then the Spurs can match and keep him. But if you look at it, Keldon Johnson got a $20 million a year deal. It's 20 and it's going downward a little bit. It's kind of weird how his contract was set up. Is Devin Vassell worth more or less than Keldon Johnson? Because if you were to ask me, I think he's worth significantly more than Keldon Johnson.
He's definitely one of the pieces you keep.
Keldon Johnson reminds me of a running back, right? You can be a good running back, but you can be easily replaced because there are others that are just like you.
Just like Zeke Elliott. He came on strong in his rookie year, but kind of faded, man. They're a dime a dozen.
They're a dime a dozen. And I think you can replace a Keldon Johnson. I'm not saying Keldon Johnson can't improve. I'm not saying Keldon Johnson's a bad player. I like Keldon. I want him on this team. But what I'm saying is that he is more replaceable than Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell's skill set is much more valuable. And to me, I'm wondering, what is this guy worth? What is Devin Vassell worth right now? Devin is probably worth 23 to 28. And if he tests the restricted free agency market, what happens then?
Yeah.
What will it take for him to sign an extension right now?
Man, that's going to be tough because the market's going to dictate what his value is worth. And when you look at it from his perspective, betting on yourself is the way to go, especially if you want to go ahead and have a justification for what you're asking.
Right.
You know, he might believe that he's worth maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of closer to 8 mil, maybe 9 a year, you know, but the market's going to dictate what you're worth. And then he can go ahead and listen to our offers, not only from other teams, but from the Spurs. And if he wants to be here, he'll go ahead and accept the offer the Spurs want to match.
I find it fascinating that certain players want to bet on themselves. And I'm not saying that's what Devin does, right? Devin might want security. He might want to say, hey, I want to have that contract already lined up. But the Spurs aren't going to get better without him on this team. He is an integral part of the Spurs' young core. I would go on to say that Devin Vassell is the second most important player on the Spurs roster right now. It goes Wemby 1, Devin Vassell 2, and we can make arguments as to who number 3 is. Probably Sohan at that point.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Because imagine if Devin Vassell takes that leap this year. What are his stats going to be? And look at what he's done the first 3 seasons with the Spurs. First of all, his three-point shooting has gone from 34% to 36 to 39.
That's very good.
That's a trend line that I like, right? His effective field goal shooting was 52.5, which is decent. I mean, that's pretty good. His points per game has gone from 5 to 12 to 18.5. That is a very, very solid trend line. And it's not like he's playing a lot more minutes than he did back in 2021, 2022. He went from 27 minutes to 31, but still an increase from 12 to 18.5 is pretty significant. This is a guy that doesn't turn the ball over very much. In fact, he averages for his career less than 1 turnover a game. He averages 1 steal per game, 1.1 the past 2 seasons. His assists went from 1.9 to 3.6. This is a guy that is getting better. He's an 81% free throw shooter for his career. Took a dip last year, but still a pretty good player. So can you picture Devin Vassell going from 18 points per game to 21, 22? Can he take that leap? Why does it have to be Victor Wembanyama?
Yeah,
especially his rookie year.
Be.
Especially his rookie year. Devin Vassell might be that guy this year. I asked the question, who's the alpha on the team? We all assume it's Keldon, but is it?
I think the media does that a lot of times. They say, this is Keldon's team, but at the end of the day, it's going to take a player in that locker room to really go ahead and put that team on their shoulders and emerge as a leader. I don't think that's happened yet.
Mario reaches out to us on YouTube, asks the question, would you be upset if the Spurs traded Devin for Pascal Siakam? I would not. I'm not going to say that I would be, very upset about it. I mean, I think that's kind of a lateral trade more than anything else. I mean, Siakam, we know what he is now. We know what he's going to do. He's a little bit older. Devin Vassell has not hit his prime yet. I think Siakam has. So that's the thing. It's the what if. What if Devin Vassell would flourish someplace else?
Look at what the Drew Show has to say.
The Drew Show asked the question, if Devin doesn't have nagging injuries by April 2024, Spurs will extend him. Keldon reverse type contract starting at $30 million a year. A reverse contract is interesting. So there are a lot of contracts out there that start at a certain number. Let's say they start at 20 and then they go to 22, 23, 24. Look at like Dame Lillard. Lillard, you're like, oh, well, he makes $45 million a year. Yeah, but he makes $60 million 4 years from now. That's the deal breaker with Dame Lillard. But there are other contracts out there like Keldon Johnson's that actually went backwards. He got paid more his first couple of years, and then it actually got lower and lower as time went on. Do the Spurs do that when it comes to Devin Vassell? That's an interesting question. I think the Spurs know that this guy is worth north of 20. Spurs got a pretty good deal for Trey Jones this offseason. 2 years, $20 million. That is a good deal. Devin Vassell is probably going to command somewhere in the 20s. David reaches out to us on YouTube, says that Devin should get about 27 to 28 million. That is probably the max that I see him at. I see him at about 24. 23 and a half to 24 is what I see.
Yeah. Look at Tim Gonzalez. He says Trey Jones will have a better year with the arrival of Wemby. Yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of these players can have better years because Wemby's going to demand so much attention from the opposing team's defense.
Agreed. Wemby just being there makes everybody better. Makes Trey Jones better because the lane opens up. Makes Keldon Johnson better because they're not spying on him. Makes Sohan better because Sohan doesn't have to do everything. Just Wemby's presence makes things better for the Spurs. But then the big question is how many games is Victor Wembanyama going to play?
Yeah.
I see reports out there. I don't know how substantial they are or if it's just BS or not, going on and saying that what if Wemby doesn't play the second half of back-to-back games? What if that happens? I'm looking at Keldon Johnson's contract. We talked about one that starts high and then gets lower. 20 million this upcoming season, then 19, then it drops to 17 and a half, then it drops to 17 and a half or stays there, and then he becomes an unrestricted free agent at the end of the 2027 season. What that tells me is that this is a very tradable contract if push comes to shove. It's hard to replace Devin Vassell. It's impossible to replace Victor Wembanyama, and it's hard to replace Jeremy Sohan. Keldon, though, dime a dozen. Good player. I want him to succeed. End of the day, he's the one that's expendable. My name is Mike Jimenez. Joe Garcia produced today's show. Again, we are live on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. Lots of comments coming in. And towards the end of the show, probably the last 20 minutes is going to be, you call it.
User-generated content.
User-generated. You all ask whatever questions. Sports, pop culture, nostalgia, whatever you want to get into. Let's give some love to Cynthia J. Sanchez, one of our sponsors from J. Parr Real Estate. Cynthia J. Sanchez, my girl. She's my personal realtor. No lie, I have used her as my realtor in the past. The house that I live in right now, 1604 Petranco, outside the loop about 3 miles. Come see me. It's a nice house. It's a very nice house. It appreciated from 306 to 486, no lie. And part of that was Cindy telling me, you know what, this house is undervalued. Not only is it brand new, it should be worth a lot more than what they have it at. This is the house you should get. My wife grabbed my hand when we first saw the house, and I swear to you, she looked at me and said, make it happen.
She knew that was the one.
That was the one. And we made it happen.
Yeah, but what do you say to that, man? You got to, at that point, make it happen.
I got to.
Yeah.
I got to. And Cynthia J. Sanchez was part of all that. She helped us find the home that we had because we were actually looking at another house. We had actually gotten a different house through Cynthia Sanchez. And at the last minute, we were getting kind of uneasy about it. We were unsure if we wanted to go into that particular neighborhood. And she could have easily have said, no, you have this house. Let's just make this deal happen. And instead, she said, you know what? I want you to be happy. Let's look a couple more days. And we went that the last house we saw was the one where my wife grabbed my wrist and said, this is our home. Make it happen. Cynthia J. Sanchez is offering a special right now. If you use her as a realtor and she represents the home that you purchase, whether you buy it or sell it, or you're buying a home, or rather, a $600 value, a warranty that protects your home if the water heater, dishwasher, AC, or mechanical appliance breaks down due to wear and tear. It's a 1-year plan. Again, you got to use Cynthia J. Sanchez from J. Parr Real Estate. Not only does she know how to get you a nice home, she knows how to get you a good interest rate because the banks right now are just fleecing people right now.
8-9%.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Insane.
You think about that over the course of a loan, 30 years, that's a lot of money.
That's a S ton of money. Cynthia J. Sanchez knows of some home builders that are creating brand new homes right now. Internal financing, 4.2%, 4%. Does that intrigue you? Again, her number's on the screen, J. Parr Real Estate. Cynthia J. Sanchez, 210-273-0748. And don't just call J. Parr. You want Cynthia J. Sanchez. Specifically on your team.
Yeah.
Again, we're going for about another 45 minutes or so. We're having a great time over here. This is kind of a calm and leisurely day to day.
It's a chill day, man. You know, one thing I was going to say about Cynthia J. Sanchez, man, is my sister-in-law, her AC just went out.
Oh.
And now that you get this rock solid, 1-year warranty for your home, I'm going to tell you, man, a central AC unit, they don't come cheap. You're talking about 10 grand plus.
Dude, I know, man, because I have a rental property, an investment property. And when my tenant reaches out to me or calls me or texts me on the 29th or 30th of the month, I know it's because she has the rent check. I know that if she calls me mid-month, that money is leaving my bank account. Something happened. So, again, Cynthia J. Sanchez, J. Parr Real Estate. Give her a call if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home. She worked at USAA. She's also really good working with the military, faith-based people, things like that. Again, she does a very, very good job. I say that I'm relaxed today, and someone asked me the question yesterday about the difference between doing a radio show like at a San Antonio Sports Star or Ticket 760 compared to a podcast. And I feel more relaxed doing this format. And part of me is saying that because, I mean, there's no 4.5 minute long, 5 minute long commercials, right?
You don't have a hard in, a hard out.
Right. And there's not like, I need this content for here. It's very rigid and strict what you're doing in sports talk radio. Yeah. And then you have people who tell you what you can say, what you can't say, what you can talk about, what you can't talk about. And I feel so free on the podcast format because what would normally take me 3 hours to prepare for takes me 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
Because I'm just here talking.
Yeah, we're just chilling.
We're just chilling, talking. I mean, don't get me wrong. I spot check things. I factually look into things. I don't sit here and say, "Hey, what are we going to talk about?" Nothing. No, we have a rundown, but it's so freeing, this type of thing, and it's like the diehards are here. Chris Leha, Ace, Drew Show, Jeff Garcia, all of you guys. Thank you so much because Matt Lerma. They're all good people, and they support this particular show. They support the people that we love and support. Katie Goodman, She thanked us yesterday on Twitter because our listeners paid, and us too. We pitched in. We paid for her passport. Yeah. She's on her way to Australia with Fox Sports.
Pursuing her dream, man. Good for her.
Yes, she's going to be shadowing Fox Sports out there at the Women's World Cup. So congratulations to Katie Goodman. She's good people, man. She is a very, very hard worker. Now, Ace asked the question, what is your real job, Mike? I feel like you sell used cars. Well, Ace, I sell investments and insurances. I have my own practice. You can go onto a website called brokercheck.org, type in Michael Jimenez in San Antonio, and you're going to see that I've been in business for 17 years on the investment side, 18 years on the insurance side. If you really want to know, I manage millions of dollars. Just call it what it is. I manage millions of dollars of people's retirement assets, investments, annuities, things like that, mutual funds, index accounts, fixed accounts. And I also provide life insurance services, disability, long-term care. And I'm also an advisor to advisors. Other advisors call me and ask me to help them create their plans so that they look good in front of their clients. A lot of my business is in San Antonio, Corpus, Dallas, Tampa, Florida, Louisiana, Austin. I'd say about 80% of my business, if not more, is outside of San Antonio. So the used car sales, I am in sales. I am. But I'm a fiduciary and I'm good at what I do. I'm very, very good at what I do. Ace says, just jokes, man. Just mess with you. I didn't take it personally. I don't take anything personally.
Mike's got thick skin.
I appreciate Ace for asking because it allowed me to answer and let people know. And maybe somebody might DM a brother. Tim reaches out and says, Katie Goodman posted a photo of her passport on her Instagram page and thanked us. She's great.
Yeah,
she really is good, and I'm so happy for her. And I love to support anything that she does because there are certain people that you see that you know are going to be really good at what they do. Chris Leha, thank you so much on YouTube. Mike Jimenez handles all the millions for money bags. Jeff Garcia, that name ain't going away, dude.
There you go, man.
That name ain't going away. Top hat and everything.
Stacks of cash.
That's the thing about it, cash. Okay, I got to tell you a story real fast before we go to entertainment news. My daughter is in Virginia Beach, right? She's doing an internship over there. She was offered her first job as a professional, as a journalist in Louisiana. So she graduates from LSU, and they said, hey, even though you have a semester left, we'll still hire you, and then you can work here after you graduate. And she's like, Dad, should I take that? So we had this conversation yesterday. The weird thing is that one of the old newspapers that she worked for paid her incorrectly. Like she'd already resigned, but they kept giving her paychecks. And it was so funny because she was like, do I keep this? And I'm like, no, you give it back.
Yeah.
But they asked for her to give them a cashier's check. And I found it funny because my daughter, who's 20 years old, brilliant, graduating college, a bachelor's degree at 20, high ACT score, looks at me and says, what's a cashier's check?
Oh, man.
And I find this to be fascinating because I think there are a lot of jerkwads out there who make fun of Gen Z and say, I saw a TikTok, they don't even know how to mail a letter
or use a can opener, something like that.
Yeah. The whole mail, they don't even know cursive.
You don't need to, man.
You don't need to. Cursive is the stupidest thing ever. I don't write in cursive. The only thing I write in cursive is my name.
Can you imagine how many hours we wasted in school trying to learn that crap?
It's not needed anymore.
It's not.
It was a waste of time. And my daughter had to mail this. And she goes, Dad, I went to the post office and I asked for a stamp. What is it? 45, 50 cents for a stamp?
Yeah.
And they tried selling her a book and they said, we don't sell individual stamps. We sell a book. She goes, Dad, I can go my whole lifetime without ever using stamps.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with this? And it's funny because old people make fun of this crap and they give them shit about it. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't know how to do X, Y, and Z.
They don't know
Like
what an
older
email
people,
is.
older people don't know how to DocuSign. Older people don't know how to work their remote controls. Older people don't know, so it's like
they don't know how to sign a PDF with Adobe Sign or nothing like
yeah.
that. Yeah, man.
So it's funny. You make fun of young people, but without the young people, your computers and TVs would not work.
Yeah.
So I was helping my daughter out throughout the whole process, and I got going to checks. I have a bank account at Security Service and RBFCU. I've run out of checks. Like, I don't have any more checks. And I have decided that at age 46, I'm never going to buy a checkbook ever again.
No, man, you don't really even need them anymore.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid. And then you have older people who don't trust Venmo, don't trust PayPal or Cash App. Or
the government's watching me. I don't want to use Venmo.
The things change. The generations change. Attitudes change. And interesting, Chris Gonzalez makes a point on our YouTube stream right now, saying that is why 28 to 50 are the best range, because we can do it all.
True enough.
You know what? There's a difference between ages here, because you can be an old fill-in-the-blank age or a young fill-in-the-blank age. My wife makes fun of me because my wife is 4 years younger than me. I'm 46. I think she's 42. She says, you're getting older. And it's true.
Why do the wives always like to go ahead and round our numbers up? They make you're 50.
You're 50.
I'm not 50. That's what I tell my wife too.
I tell her I'm still mid 40s, because wouldn't mid be 44 to 46?
Yes.
44 to 47. Is it late 48, 49? The point I'm trying to make is that, I go on Facebook, Instagram, I go on to TikTok, and I see the friends that I went to high school with. And some of them act so young because they're active, they're out and about. And then there are some who are the exact same age as me who look and act so much older because they've decided to get old.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that I am a younger-minded 46, right? Yeah. I'm 46 in age, but I'm 37 in mentality. I don't have the mentality of age 21. I don't want to go hit up the clubs. I don't want to go do any of that crap anymore. But at the same time, I am not an old fogey when it comes to things. So let's talk about that. Let's go.
You're not going to sleep at 6 or 7 o'clock.
No, but I do nap every day from 3:30 to 4.
Hey, when you become a certain age, you need that nap, dude.
I know. Power nap, baby. It isn't a weak nap. It's a power nap.
It's a power nap.
Let's get some entertainment news in there. Let's get that animation going.
Get that animation.
You did it yesterday.
Man. Yeah, here we go.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, baby. There it is. Woo! It's like British broadcasting news right there. Woo! Some entertainment news. Apparently, country star Jason Aldean is Teflon. Nothing sticks to this guy. Okay, so we talked about this yesterday, and oh my God, I stayed up till 1 a.m. going back and forth with multiple people about whether or not Jason Aldean is racist or not. The update to all this is that his new song called Try That in a Small Town.
And we got the video pulled up here.
It reached #1 on the iTunes chart.
We can't play that music.
No.
But yeah.
The song was released in May. The video came out last week, and it became super controversial right away. CMT, Country Music Television, pulled it. They actually play music videos on that channel. They pulled it from the rotation because of allegations that it is a racist video and a racist song. Now, some of the lyrics are, quote, "Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're going to round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck. Try that in a small town." And then what? And then you go on and read the rest of the lyrics, and the fact that the music video was filmed in front of a small courthouse where a lynching took place in the 1920s and a race riot broke out in the 1940s. And I was going back and forth with people on Facebook and on Twitter yesterday. And I asked a question that no one seems to want to answer. And that is, what does somebody need to say or do before you believe they are racist? And every time I ask that question...
And there's that little courthouse.
Yeah. Every time I ask that question, there's a deflection. The deflection is, well, Black people can be racist too. That's not what I asked. I asked the question, what does somebody need to say or do in order for you to believe that they are in fact racist?
Yeah.
And then the next comment is, well, what about Hunter Biden? Okay, here's the thing. I don't give two fucking shits about Hunter Biden. What does that have to do with this conversation?
Yeah.
Nothing. Okay? What does someone need to say or do for you to believe that they are racist in the white supremacist variety? And they don't want to answer the question because I don't think that they want to have a litmus test for it. And a good friend of mine, Quinn Hudson, always brings up the point. Quinn Hudson from, it was a Rock the Mic champion at San Antonio Sports.Star. He says that if you have 10 people around the table and one person's overtly racist and the other 9 don't say anything about it, then all 10 of them are racist. And it's an interesting point of view because he says the other 9 could have shut that one up, but they didn't. So the other 9 are responsible, not the one.
Here's the other thing, a flip side of that too, is like, if let's say everybody on that table feels uncomfortable, it's your job to say something. If you don't say nothing and you just stay quiet, like you said, you're kind of guilty by proxy.
Yeah.
You know?
That's exactly it. You know, guilt by association. So I was going back and forth with these people about the whole situation with Jason Aldean. Jason Aldean has very questionable lyrics, right? And I'm willing to overlook certain coincidences if there's one or two things that you need me to overlook. If you need me to overlook that, hey, he didn't mean that for the song lyric. Okay, fine. It's fine. He didn't do this out of the other. He didn't mean this. He didn't mean that. This lyric didn't mean this. This lyric didn't mean that. Okay, fine. But the location of the video, they had to have known.
They're showing it right now.
They had to have known that that courthouse was famous for a reason. The violence that was shown in the music video was only about Black Lives Matter. It had nothing to do with any right-wing type of violence, January 6th, stuff like that. It was only Black Lives Matter that he went against. His PR firm kicked his ass to the curb because his wife went on a transphobic and they've gone onto a homophobic rants before. So my connecting of the dots is this. If you are transphobic, homophobic, to the point where your PR firm drops your ass, if you have lyrics that some people can say are dog whistles and obviously see them, my wife doesn't go looking for racism. The second she saw this, and she loves country music, she goes, what is this racist shit?
There you go, man.
When you pick the side of the music video, it is not extreme to take the position that, you know what, the guy is a racist.
Yeah.
People think that racism is only if someone shows up at your house with a hood on and you got a burning cross on the front yard. They don't do that. It is subtle. It is subtle. It is biased. And it goes both ways, but it is subtle and it is bias. And the reason why he doesn't come out and say what he really wants to say is because he doesn't want to be dropped by his label because he can't. And people are like, well, what about like, I don't understand how this is a dog whistle. Okay, first of all, in music, you don't say what's on your mind. Little Red Corvette, Prince. What is the Corvette?
What is a Corvette?
It's a woman's vagina. Listen to the song, and it's true. Little Red Corvette is a vagina. He wasn't singing, my girl's vagina. No, it is Little Red Corvette. She Bop by Cyndi Lauper. She's not going to go, oops, She Bop, or is she going to go, oop, it's about masturbation. The summer of 69. I got my first real 6-string over at the 5 and Dime, played it till my fingers bled. Was the summer of 69.
Yeah.
What is that song about? It's about he and his girlfriend in high school in the 69 sex position throughout the summer. It was the best days of his life. It's because the dude was getting laid in high school. The dude was getting laid at 17, 18 years old. All of music is sung in code. When he goes out there and says, that shit might not fly in the city, good luck with that, try that in a small town. It's not a fucking leap to say that he's a racist. Jason Aldean is a racist. Fuck him. I don't care about that dude. And I had a family member reach out to me and go, so you're telling me that all country music's racist? No. I don't think George Strait's racist. I don't think Garth Brooks is racist. I don't think Reba's racist. We know for damn sure Dolly Parton isn't. I don't think Willie Nelson is. I don't think Johnny Cash is. I like certain country music artists. I don't think that Tim McGraw or Faith Hill. I don't think Shania Twain's racist. I don't know. I would say that they're not. And I'm not saying that their fans or their listeners are. But that dude is. And you can't tell me different. And I don't want to hear this crap about, well, it's because the mainstream media. Dude, the second I hear someone say woke in mainstream media, I just look at them and I go, fuck. What are you talking about? Hunter Biden. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? It's confusing as fuck. It really is. And I'm over here trying to have a rational conversation, connecting dots going, okay, this is questionable lyrics at a questionable place from a questionable dude with a questionable wife, and you can't connect those dots, you refuse to see them, then what the hell? Again, I'll ask the question. What does someone have to say or do before you believe they are racist? And if they don't want to answer that question, then they are actually the bigger part of the problem, not Jason Aldean. Because, like Quinn Hudson said on TikTok recently, 10 people around the table, 1 overt racist, and 9 other people say nothing about it. Those other 9 people are more at fault. I firmly believe that.
Yeah. Hey, let's also start getting into some of this other celebrity news too, because we had that big story break here with Tupac, remember?
Dude, Tupac. I thought he was still alive.
He might be.
People told me that Elvis and Tupac were alive. Tupac Shakur died back in 1997? 1996, September 1996. 27 years ago almost. And a SWAT team in Las Vegas, we're seeing video of it right now. A SWAT team in Vegas raided a home. And they're looking for some sort of evidence about this murder. And I find this to be bizarre because they searched for 2 hours. I saw one report that said that they may have taken out some computer files, maybe some drives and things like that, hard drives. But what was the probable cause? How did you get that warrant to execute it? Because there's a couple that lives in that home, and the neighbors told TMZ.com, yeah, those are pretty nice people. I'm not saying that they're not involved.
Yeah.
But those are some pretty nice people. A lot of people believe that Tupac's murder will never be solved because the one person that they believed was the prime suspect, the investigators believe was the prime suspect, died. So it's like, I mean, we might be able to solve it, but who are we going to punish? The person we think actually pulled the trigger died. So I don't know what's going on with this, but I'm fascinated by this whole story because I want to know exactly what's going on and what they have there to not only get a warrant, like what probable cause, how do they convince a judge about this warrant, and then have the balls to go send a SWAT team to a home to go do a raid in the middle of the night. I mean, I'm a big believer where there's smoke, there's fire half the time.
Yeah.
But my goodness, I'm going to be so fascinated into following this as to where this is all going to go. Where it's all going to go. Tex-Mex Frank reaches out on YouTube, says, props to you, Mike, throwing out takes that are fire. Woo, David. It was all about BLM. That's right. That's the whole thing about the Jason Aldean song. Screw Jason Aldean. He's a racist. That's a racist song. He and his wife are asses. You know what? Let's go ahead and do some pop culture, some more pop culture, because Chris Gonzalez says Sofia Vergara is single again. Not only that, I read a follow-up to that. So Sofia Vergara, famously from Modern Family, she's posting photos of herself on Instagram looking amazing. 51
Of
years
course she
old.
is, man.
Dude, she is perfect figure. And she is celebrating her 51st birthday in Italy. And Julie Bowen, who played Claire on Modern Family, is saying that is what a fire single woman looks like. But it turns out it was Sofia Vergara's husband that filed for divorce. And apparently they both had prenups, and they're going to figure that out. So it's probably not going to be a Kevin Costner issue because they had no kids together. But she was married to one of the dudes from Magic Mike. I have no idea how to pronounce his name correctly.
Joe Manganiello.
There you go. Good looking guy.
Yeah, but remember, it goes back to that saying that my friend's dad always told us. Doesn't matter how good looking she is, fellas, somewhere, some way, somebody's tired of her shit.
Yeah, I can see that, man.
But it goes vice versa, too. I mean, women file for divorce all the time because they're tired of men's shit, too, you know?
I get that, man.
Yeah,
but Sofia Vergara, man, she is smoking hot. You know what else is smoking hot? One of our new sponsors, MCS General Contracting. You're going to see that number on the screen right there, 210-774-9155. They strive to be the best in the business when it comes to concrete placement, honest pricing, high quality work. Man, if you need a foundation, a slab, an extended driveway, a concrete porch, an extension, if you need a parking lot done, this is a company that you want to call. Again, it's called MCS General Contracting, 210-774-9155. If you're a business, they can do the parking lot, they can do the foundations, and many other concrete placement services. You know, I was talking to one of their guys. We had lunch actually recently, Chris Leha, and he was talking about, you know, you get what you pay for. That there are cheap services out there that do concrete services, that do swimming pools, that do things like that. And you know what? They might be cheaper, but that doesn't mean that they're better. You sometimes get what you pay for. MCS General Contracting is going to try to get you the best value, okay? Value means best bang for the buck. Give MCS General Contracting a call, 210-774-9155. I know you want those Traegers, those grills. You need to have an extension to your concrete patio. A lot of people want to have a bigger driveway. Give them a call. That number's out there, 210-774-9155. I love the new logo. Very, very good.
Made by our own right here, friend of the show, Bear County Social.
County Social. They're good people, man, and they got some really good gear on their Instagram page.
Yeah, Brendan Medina was in here sporting the shorts.
Oh, I have a couple of shirts from
man.
Bear County Social. Love those guys. Hey, pop culture news real fast. You mentioned Lindsay Lohan's having a baby.
Yeah, man, that's a weird thing. Looking in the Tupac, news that was breaking and whatnot, looking at the TMZ articles, I just happened to roll upon this. It's article of Lindsay Lohan, man. She looks like she gave birth to a baby boy.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Lindsay Lohan, I hope she's okay. Okay,
I think she's doing better, man.
Yeah, she had that roller coaster ride, and I hope that Britney Spears bounces out of it like Lindsay Lohan did. Lindsay Lohan was on the same path as Britney Spears, on the same path as Amanda Bynes. Amanda Bynes is more of a mental health issue than anything else, but these are people who were at the top in the early 2000s, and they just, their life self-destructed somehow, some way. We saw the mental breakdown that Britney Spears had. Reports that Amanda Bynes is walking naked up and down the street in California because she's zonked out of her mind.
That's sad, man.
Lindsay Lohan was somebody who was making news for all the wrong reasons. Mean Girls, which came out almost 20 years ago, is one of my favorite movies. Me and my daughter, we watched it all the time. And she was so talented. And you think about the girls that were on there. Amanda Seyfried, who went on to stardom. Rachel McAdams became a big star. Lacey Chabert is big in the Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
And then you've got Lindsay Lohan, who was touted to be the biggest of the stars, and her career went to crap. She made some wrong choices when it came to movies. She was supposed to be in The Hangover. Imagine if she was in that movie, because Heather Graham's character was supposed to be Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
That would have made her an even bigger star. She got involved with substance abuse. She released a letter of her sex list. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I haven't
She
seen
wrote
that.
down the list of every single celebrity that she's had sex with. And some of the names out there, she put the names. I'm looking at the list right now, according to intouch.com. And this is also on E! Online. She mentions Wilmer Valderrama. Okay. Mentions Joaquin Phoenix, Evan Peters, Justin Timberlake, Colin Farrell, Heath Ledger, James Franco, Adam Levine. And she was listing every celebrity that she's ever had sex with. And I'm thinking to myself, why is this being released? Not to say that I'm not trying to shame her, because, I mean, come on, Adam Levine. You know, I mean, if he created his list, it'd be long too. But it's just like the publicity of it all. You know, what you do behind closed doors should belong to you.
Yeah.
But now she seems to have kind of leveled out a little bit, gotten off whatever she was on, and seems to be on the right path.
She
And
grew up, man.
She had and it's difficult, man, because her parents were jackasses.
They're toxic, man.
Well, Britney Spears' parents were toxic
Yeah.
as well. So it's kind of crazy. But congratulations to Lindsay Lohan. I believe that's her first time being a mom.
She said that her husband, Brad Sams, as well, they welcomed their son, Luai Shammas, which means shield or protector in Arabic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good for them, man. Congratulations.
Let's talk about the last 15 minutes of the show. Let's get into viewer questions, listener questions. People reaching out to us on YouTube.
We have one right now.
Let's see.
Jason Garcia was the one that was telling us. Let me go ahead and see if I can find that comment real quick, because he was asking us to go ahead and take a look and let us know what we thought about the Seattle Seahawks throwback jerseys. So there you go.
You know what? Seattle Seahawks throwback
jerseys. And I got them right
jerseys.
here. I got it right here. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. It's directly from Adam Schefter's Twitter.
So the Seahawks throwback jerseys, if it's the one that
from the 90s
that Steve Largent was wearing back in the day, I mean, that would be pretty cool. Okay, so I'm looking at it right now. What is up with that color of blue?
That's the color that they had of the uniform back in the day.
Because I saw that the new Indianapolis Colts ones, RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys tweeted that the Colts might have like an alternate uniform, and it's the exact same shade of blue as this one, but with a lot more white. So it's very similar. As I put down on Twitter, the Colts' new alternative jersey looks awful, but it's better than what they have now. I'm not a big fan of this particular throwback by the Seahawks.
I thought it looks pretty dope, man. I like it.
I'm okay with what they got now. But the Seahawks,
it looks better.
Seahawks are my team to beat in the NFC, man. Seahawks are a really good team.
They're your dark horse.
No, they're my favorite.
Your favorite? All right.
They're my favorite to go through the NFC. And it's not to make Jason Garcia happy, because I know he's a Seahawks fan. Vince Trevino asking the question, where is Quinn Hudson these days? Man, he is all over TikTok, baby. He is TikTok famous. I'm going to look up Quinn Hudson right now on TikTok. The number of people who follow him is probably astronomical. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of people on TikTok follow him. And he does a lot of commentary when it comes to matters of race, when it comes to relations, you know, being a good husband, being a good boyfriend, being a good person. He's not afraid to speak his mind. Typically, I don't. Typically, I keep things to myself. But I got wrapped up this morning. I got wound up tight this morning when it came to the whole Jason Aldean things, because it's just like, my goodness. It's the same talking point. It's like an army of people saying the same talking points. Say, well, what media outlet did you get that from? Did you get it from the lamestream media? What about? And I'm like, dude, think for yourself, my man.
Yeah, man.
There are things that I'm conservative about and things I'm liberal about. Okay? Depends on the topic.
Oh, look at Drew Show.
Drew Show says Brian Bosworth era jerseys. Okay, first of all, if they're going to wear mullets with this, then I'm supportive. Mario reaches out. Warren Moon wore that jersey. Yeah, not for long. He's a baby blue, baby. Love ya, blue.
Hey, we got a birthday, man. I want to go and give a shout out to one of my buddies from way back in the day. And, we went to the same high school together. So,
West Campus.
yeah, man. Shout out to my West Campus alumni brother here. What's up, Angel? Angel Gutierrez. Looks like he's almost hitting the 50. He's 47 today. Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday, man. It's I want to get old. I want to gracefully age. Okay.
Yeah.
And that basically means I don't want to be old in thought. And I just feel that a lot of people, especially the people that I grew up with, it's a weird progression as to where they went. I have some friends who are very, 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 very nice people. And I think they live in an alternative universe when it comes to what reality truly is. And they look at me like I live in an alternate reality. Reminds me of a TV show. One of my favorite TV shows of the past few years. And by the way, this is nerdy. And if Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 is listening,
he's always listening.
There's a show called Counterpart. It's on Amazon. And it's J.K. Simmons.
Oh, yeah. I like him, man. He's a good actor.
I love him. This was his passion project. He was on for 3 seasons. It's over, right?
Yeah.
And Counterpart is basically he plays 2 different people, but it's himself. And basically the gist of the show, and I'm not giving anything away, this is the first episode out of 30. But basically the world diverged or split apart in the mid-1980s during the Cold War, and that there was a scientist trying to develop a weapon. And what ended up happening was 2 universes were created. One is what's called the prime universe, and one is called the non-prime universe. So there are 2 Joe Garcias, because you were born before 1984. There are 2 Michael Jimenezes. And we had the same timeline of time up until 1984, but one pattern went one way, the other pattern went the other way. And it's the biggest secret known to man that there are 2 universes, because most people on one side don't know that the other side exists. So in one universe, Michael Jimenez is married to my wife, Selena. But the other universe, I'm not married to her.
You might be married to Sofia Vergara.
I might be, yeah. I might be doing a different job. I might be whatever. And it's funny because in one universe, technology is different. And in another, so some things are better in one universe and some things are worse in that same universe, and vice versa. It is a very nerdy sci-fi show that I absolutely loved. It's called Counterpart. You can stream it all. Amazon Prime. I don't make a cut out of it. I just wanted you to know about it.
Hey, man, we got a controversial comment here, man. I'm going to show it again. Look at Chris Gonzalez.
Chris Gonzalez on YouTube says, speaking of baby blue, why are Titans wearing the Oilers throwbacks? Just because the family moved them to Tennessee? We have a team in Houston now. They should own the rights to those jerseys.
I agree, man.
Let's think about the Adams family. Not the other Adams family, Bud Adams and all them. Who do I hate more than Jason Aldean? The Adams family. For moving my Houston Oilers to Nashville. I grew up a massive Houston Oilers fan. I've always loved the Spurs. But I loved the Houston Oilers just as much. I loved them both equally. And when they moved from Houston to Nashville,
pobrecito, man,
I was crushed. And it was the most painful sports experience. People are like, what about Ray Allen's dagger in Game 6 of the 2013 finals? What about Point 4 with Derek Fisher? Nope. The most hurtful thing that's ever happened to me in sports was that my Oilers were taken away. And I tried cheering for the Titans for a couple of years because you recognize the names out there. Steve McNair, you recognize the names like Eddie George. And I just, after a while, just couldn't take it. And from the years probably 2000 to 2005, my favorite football team was my fantasy football team. And 2005, Hurricane Katrina happens. The New Orleans Saints need a home. They call the Alamo Dome home for 3 glorious games, and I was at all 3. They got a quarterback from Austin named Drew Brees. Ricky Williams was part of the legacy there at New Orleans, UT star. That's how I became a Saints fan.
Hey, man, we get a controversial comment, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to show it to you here. This is in response to what you were saying about Aldean.
What's that? Oh, hey, Michael. In a CNN town hall, Joe Biden says black people, Hispanics. Okay, first of all, don't know how to use the internet and can't figure out how to get a vaccine. Should I take offense to that? No, maybe because I know you're a big Trump supporter. You should take offense to the fact that he says to grab women by the pussy.
There you go.
So that's the thing about it. What was I talking about Joe Biden or Donald Trump or...
You're talking about a video, man.
Yeah, I'm talking about a music video that is blatantly racist.
Yeah.
And the people are like, well, that just that what about this and what about that? It is why the United States is crumbling. Is because common sense has gone out the window.
Yeah.
And you know, because here's the thing. I trust doctors when it comes to health.
Yeah.
I trust lawyers when it comes to law. I trust people who know things. There's a comedian, I think it was Dave Chappelle. He says the problem with the world right now is that back in the day, people who didn't have common sense would shut up. And now they need to have an opinion. And it's like, well, what about like this person and this 1% outlier, 3% outlier? Oh, we can't have this because it's not 100% this and it's not there's nothing that's absolute in this world.
Yeah, man.
Nothing that's absolute in this world.
You know what a lot of the other people from around the world think of the U.S.?
Yeah.
They think of us as a laughing stock because
we are.
All we do is fight amongst each other, man.
The number of people who are so hyper patriotic have never been outside the U.S.
Yeah.
And it's so, am I saying that the United States is a bad country? No. Right? It's a land of opportunity for so many different people, right? But the idea that the United States is the greatest country in the world, blah, blah, blah. How do you know? Have you ever lived someplace else? Yeah. I don't know.
And you see, the thing is too, like when somebody posts like say a socially charged kind of comment, or they put in a controversial comment, they probably think, oh, we're not really going to talk about it. We ain't scared to talk, man. You know,
I ain't a San Antonio sports star, baby. I can do whatever the hell I want to do.
Y'all want to talk? We'll talk.
You want to talk? You know, and that's the thing. I try to stay away from it for the most part because you can't convince people otherwise.
Yeah.
I can show somebody that 5 + 5 = 10. And there will be somebody out there who say, well, that's your opinion.
You're entitled to your own opinion.
No, you're not.
Is.
No.
No.
People are not entitled to their own opinion because there's certain things that are factual.
Yeah, well, yeah, you get into that other thing. You're not entitled to your own facts.
You're entitled to your own facts. Yeah. You're entitled to your own opinion, not your own facts.
Yeah, I got you, man.
And that's the thing, because I have always said that I've always wanted to run for office. Do you know what my platform would say, or my billboard sign would say? It would say the far left is stupid and the far right is dangerous. Common sense. Because I believe that those who are in the extreme far left are also off their rocker stupid. But the thing is that the far right will never believe that. Like, those who are moderate left will look at the far left and go, God, those guys are idiots. Moderate right won't look at the far right and call them idiots. It's just a weird thing. And I don't like talking politics anymore because you can't convince somebody otherwise.
Yeah.
Jason Aldean could have set a fucking cross on fire and millions of people would have said, well, that's not racist.
Yeah.
Prove that it is. He is just lifting up the cross. That's what they would say. And it's so absurd how this country acts right now. David reached out and says politics will divide us. And that's why politics should never be spoken at family dinners, lunches, or whatever. And I will say one last thing about this. My wife, I love my wife like crazy, right? The people I love the most in my life are my wife and my kids, and that's the way it should be, right? And we love our family, except those who believe what they believe and whatnot. That's their right, their opinion, their beliefs. But I will say this though, it is a sad day that on July 20th, 2023, my wife and I do not feel comfortable going to a church. That is a sad day because I know my wife and I have talked about going, but the one thing that we're fearful of is sitting next to homophobes, sitting next to transphobes, sitting next to racist people, overtly doing the dog whistles. And that is why my wife and I don't go to church, because we don't want to be next to homophobic people on a Sunday morning. We don't want to be next to transphobic people on a Sunday morning. We don't want people who believe that they're holier than thou. And honestly, what they are, it's just jerks. That's just all they are.
Yeah, chat's getting wild, man.
Chat is getting wild. You know what? It's my show, dude. It's your show. It's our show.
Yeah.
And when I say it's our show, it's the people who listen as well.
Yeah, it's viewer generated content, man. That's what today was about.
It was sports, pop culture, nostalgia, and a lot of bullshit. Is what it was. And I don't want to do this tomorrow. We're not doing politics tomorrow. We're going back to sports, pop culture, nostalgia. If you want to have a fiery Thursday, that's what we'll do.
Fiery Thursday.
Fiery Thursday. Ask me a question and I will answer them. Matt Lerma, one last question. Are you saying only white and black people can have opinions on racism?
And they're talking about a comment that the Drew Show was putting in.
Oh, I have no idea.
It's not about you. Yeah.
Race wars.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people were listening today. Fired up, baby. The shorts on YouTube are going to be on fire.
Should have like a flame coming out of them or something.
Jason Aldean. Racist punk.
Yeah.
Racist punk. You know what? One coincidence. One thing. Taken out of context, fine. Two, fine. You give me 4, 5, or 6 matters. Again, what? The lyrics, the place of the video, his past history, comments from his wife, being dropped by his PR firm, all that stuff. Dude, if you can't see it, that's not my problem. That's yours. My name is Mike Jimenez. That is Joe Garcia. This is The Acquired Taste. Hope everyone has a fantastic Thursday. And if someone wants to talk politics to you, just tell them, I don't want to hear it. Oh, and by the way, one last thing. Don't be jerks. Don't be jerks. And realize that there are jerks on all sides. Realize that liberals can be jerks, and realize that conservatives can be jerks. Realize that people who go to church are not necessarily good people. They can be good people. They can be great people, but they can also be bad people. Doing what I do for a living, not this, but doing finance and stuff like that, I've met some people who go to church who are very, very fine people, and I love and adore them. I've also met people who go to church every Sunday, every Wednesday, and all that, and are the biggest turds in the toilet bowl. Okay? Going to church doesn't make you a good person. Being a leftist doesn't make you a good person. Being a rightist or a conservative does not make you a good person. Being urban, being rural, being white, being black, none of that makes you a good person. What makes you a good person is doing good things and being open-hearted and taking care of the ones that you love. And keep an inner circle tight and screw everybody else.
Yeah, and the last thing I'm going to say is some of these people that come in here with these racially charged, comments and whatnot, some of these guys don't even vote, dude.
Yeah.
So you have a big voice, but don't even go to the poll. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly. You come to me for sports, pop culture, and nostalgia, and if you want my opinion, you'll get it. This is The Acquired Taste. We'll be back tomorrow. Everyone have a great day.
Peace.